Hello everybody. I'd like to talk to you today about some halachas that are connected to muktzah. Muktzah is a rabbinical prohibition on Shabbat that any object that we don't need, we don't have any use for on Shabbat, that we shouldn't move it. Therefore, a rock outside in the back garden, you have no use for it. It's going to be muktzah on Shabbat and you wouldn't be able to move it around. If you have a pen has no use on Shabbat. You're not allowed to write on Shabbat. So that pen would be considered as muktzah on Shabbat. You wouldn't be able to move it. What the question I wanted to speak about today is, what about fruits that are attached to trees? Fruits that are growing on a tree, even though they're ripe and ready to be eaten, if when Shabbat came in, they were still attached to the tree, they remain muktzah for the whole of Shabbat, and even if they fall off the tree, you wouldn't be able to take them and eat them. But if the fruits have fallen from the tree before Shabbat and they're lying in the garden, so now they're not muktzah, and on Shabbat you'd be able to go and take one of them from the floor and wash it, of course, and eat it. What you wouldn't be able to do is, if a whole load of fruits had fallen from before Shabbat, is to collect them up in a basket, as that's a separate problem of what's called ma'amer. In the time of the Mishkan, when they were growing wheat, they would need to collect it all up. And that's a prohibition on Shabbat, one of the 39 melachot. So you wouldn't be able to gather up all the oranges that fell off your orange tree before Shabbat and put them into a basket. That would be the melacha of ma'amer. But what you could do is take one and eat it. And it wouldn't be considered as muktzah as long as it fell off the tree before Shabbat. What about smelling a fruit while it's on the tree? A fruit that's muktzah. Would you be allowed to go over and have a smell? Enjoy the smell of a lemon, an orange, an etrog. The danger here is that while smelling it, you might come to pick it, seeing as fruits are things that we pick all the time. That's why Chazal said that you shouldn't smell a fruit, because you might come to pick it. Picking it would be an issur from the Torah. You're not allowed to detach anything from the place where it's growing on Shabbat, part of kotzer, harvesting. So Chazal said not to smell that lemon while it's hanging on the tree, because maybe you might come to pick it off. But with a flower, yeah, you're right, we do pick flowers, but not in the same way that we pick fruits. Every fruit is for picking. Every flower is not for picking. And so if you were to smell a flower on Shabbat that's growing in your back garden, even though it's attached to the ground, Chazal did not say that that's prohibited because maybe you might come to pick the flower. They allowed you to smell the flower in your back garden. So do smell it and enjoy it, okay? So to smell a flower is perfectly permissible on Shabbat, but to smell a fruit that's attached to the tree, no, because you may come to pick it. While we're talking about trees, let me just get another halacha in here that's an important thing for people to know. Because of the danger that you might pick something off a tree, so Chazal didn't want us to use trees in any way. If you have a tree house, you wouldn't use it on Shabbat. If your football gets stuck up a tree, you wouldn't climb up the tree to get the football down on Shabbat. What about if you have a hammock or a swing that's hanging from the branches of a tree? Can you play on that on Shabbat? The answer is you have to know how to make a hammock and how to make a swing. If the ropes of your hammock or of your swing are directly attached to branches of a tree, then you wouldn't be able to swing on it on Shabbat. But if you have nails or pieces of wood attached to the branches and the ropes of your swing or your hammock are hanging from those, then that's a perfectly good hammock to have a nice afternoon shluffin on Shabbat. Because seeing as it's not hanging directly from the branches, but it's hanging from something that's connected to the branches, you're allowed to use that, whether it's a hammock or a swing, on Shabbat. Thank you very much. Have a good day, everybody.